Hit it twice there. Okay, we are live. Welcome to this great retrospective. We're going to be talking about one of the masters of the Bronze Age and beyond, John Byrne himself. But before we get into that, oh, what was that? Sorry.
One of the masters of the Bronze Age.
Oh, hold on.
And beyond.
Sorry about that. My YouTube feed kicked on there in a second. But before we get to that, let's introduce these fine gentlemen. Like I said, when I started thinking about a John Byrne stream, these are the two gentlemen that came right to mind. I finally got a hold of them. Finally got them on here. Their YouTube channel should be linked below. And it's very important for you to subscribe and hit the notification bell for them because parts 2 and 3 are going to be on their channels. Okay. So to my left, I guess, right, whatever, some way, is my buddy from Indiana, JHood Creative. Say a few words to the fine folks out there, James.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. When Roger invited me and from Heroes to Icons to do this, man, my blood started boiling because I'm an old school John Byrne fan, and it's just the way the world works when you're in comics. Things come and go. You kind of build interest in certain artists or titles, and then you kind of lose interest, and then you build interest again later in life. And I'm in one of those spots where I'm hungry for more John Byrne, and I'm just thrilled to be here to talk about one of my favorite comic book artists tonight.
Excellent. All right, let's go down below me, only in direction. Otherwise, this guy is my brother. He and I go way back. He sent me an AOK a long time ago, which I absolutely love. It was up on my Metacave. It will be again because he just sent it out of the blue, out of the goodness of his heart, and that meant a lot to me. But that's not why he's here. He's here because this man is a John Byrne lover to the core. And so, Jason, say a few words to the fine folks out there.
Good evening, everybody. All those that follow me on Instagram also know that Byrne, baby Byrne. That's what we always do. It's John Byrne all day and all night. Glad you guys are here with us. You will not be disappointed. As Roger said, maybe one of the top 3 Bronze Age artists that gravitated over into current, and I can't say too many modern artists that haven't imitated him in some way or form.
Yeah, good point. Well, before we get to it, let's get into the chat real quick. Coming a little early, we got Unruly Simeon, my buddy from Graders Notes. We have Las Cruces 1971 from New Mexico. He is like this man is like a ubiquitous. He is everywhere. Magic Lasso Ryan, my buddy. Parts 2 and 3 will be to be announced. Okay, because to get the 3 of us together can be a little tricky, and we have to go and read and compile our comics. So JHood will let us know on Instagram. I'll put it on my what do you call that? The channel thing that I get with. Yeah, that's it. So don't worry, it'll be happening. And then when Jason is up, the same thing will happen. Okay. And Groto Orloff from Texas. This guy, his collection is just insane, absolutely insane. Not just comics, like all kinds of pop culture. Very knowledgeable as well. Okay, so let's get into it, gentlemen. What do we say? John Byrne was born in the UK, believe it or not. And he moved to Canada when he was 8, I do believe. And then he eventually attended art school in Alberta, I think. But he dropped out. He didn't finish. During that time, though, he actually made a comic book. It was one of those amateurish college, probably stapled together. I've never actually seen it. And so during that time, he was also how you submit things to like fanzines and so forth. He submitted stuff to a couple fanzines from the Charlton focused fanzines. And that's when he was noticed, I think, by Nick Cutie, who was actually the writer of E-Man. He also had done some little stories for Skywald, I think Nightmare, and I think one or two other small things. But this is his actually first color published work. It's a character called Raj 2000. Yes, Raj 2000. And I don't know if you guys have read this, but it's not or have seen it, but it's not your super. Let me make myself big real quick here, guys. It's not your typical art. It's a little more cartoony than the typical art stuff that Byrne did later on. But you can definitely see a Byrne influence there. You can see the tight lines. And this is something that we're going to talk about later, guys, but Byrne loves to put himself in the stories. Like this guy here, the blonde hair, that's a Byrne prototype if ever I've seen one right there.
Sure thing.
Yeah. Notice the figure of this young lady. Now, she is actually a robot. That's why she's not so detailed, right? But you can definitely tell
she looks like a toy or something like that.
Yeah. And it's a short story. It's a backup. It's not even. There's nothing in the cover that says anything about it, right? But Cutie wanted to give him a shot because a lot of the E-Man comics were kind of shorter stories. So apparently he did this one, and then he did a couple more, I believe in 9 and 10. I'm not gonna show all those details because we want to get going here. But this is where he got his start. This is his first color comic book. All right. Now he did do Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch and the Flintstones too. I'm not going to show those because they're obviously a style which was more geared toward what the prior artist, more cartoonish.
Right.
You can really tell it was Byrne that much, you know.
Right.
But since that was successful and the publishers thought he was doing, he had a lot of talent, then came his first series that he got to do, first mainline series, and that was Doomsday +1. Okay, and this is, I think this is a super cool. I'm going to make myself big real quick. This is a super cool post-apocalyptic kind of story. Now things are getting more like the Byrne that we know.
Yes.
Especially if you look at the female. If you look at the females' faces, guys, hold on, right here. I wanted to show you because he does have a distinctive look. Look at this woolly mammoth here, by the way. Look at that thing.
That's awesome.
Look at that. Look at that. Byrne, baby Byrne. That's what Jason
It definitely looks like Byrne, but that's his first full issue, or not the first full issue, but his first regular title, and it looks. We can tell it's. If you look at like Jim Lee's work on Alpha Flight, the first work he did, it's like, who is this guy? But we look at this, and we can definitely see, it's all there from the beginning.
Yeah. And there's another little Byrne prototype there. Yeah. So but I want to show you the female because that Byrne, he's known for having that really voluptuous kind of female figure and look, and yeah, this is where it started. Right here. Let's look at this one up here. You can sort of tell right there. Kind of a Jean Grey look-alike there a little bit.
Yep.
Black Widow-esque.
So, let's put it back here.
So just
and he did 6 issues.
So just to establish the timeline of John Byrne's career, we're gonna go up through like 1980 tonight. But what year was that published?
That was 1975.
Okay.
The E-Man the E-Man issues were earlier in 75, and now we're talking about late 75 and early 76. And he did 6 issues in this run, covers and interiors. Okay? There's actually 12 issues in the run, but the last 6 just reprint the first 6. Charlton did a lot of that. Yeah. But look at this one. This is really cool. That's actually the eye of an alien that's looking back. And let me put this here so you can see it better. That's looking back at those 2 figures. That's the eye there of the alien.
Gotcha.
Really neat little.
Yeah.
Yeah. And imagine if we had the original art or something like that. Oof, man. Oh, I get chills just thinking about it. You know? Just get chills. You know. Yeah. And then there's a last. Hey, Biggie Shack, how you doing, buddy? Okay, so that's it for that. I'm not going to show you the reprints. All right, then. Yeah,
I've got an open spot in my collection. I have to go find those now.
Oh,
definitely. I was looking for them, but hunting for that, and then I veered back over to the Fantastic Four.
Hey, it's hard with Byrne. He's so prolific, right? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Okay, then he also did for Charlton. One other thing that a lot of people didn't know. Before he went to space 1999, he did an issue of Emergency, which was a show back in the 70s. You remember that show? Yeah. This is a neat little... It's hard to find these offbeat issues. I'm going to tell you, it took me like years to find this thing. I don't really eBay much, so I wanted to find it in the wild. But this is a nice little find. Then he went to Space 1999. Let's go to JHood for that, because I know he has an issue that he wants to show you.
So I picked up issues 1 to 3, not knowing, exactly what he had done, and it turns out he'd only started in issue 3.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the cover, and just like Roger was showing with his book. I mean, it's all here. When we look at like this kind of portrait of Barbara Bain, it definitely looks like John Byrne drew it. And I thought it was interesting after going through and like really scrutinizing this book, how I was looking at it and like the faces leave a little bit something to be desired, and I was like, okay, it's his early work, right? So he'll get better with time. But then I see images like of these aliens where I'm like, that these aliens look more like John Byrne art than the humans that he's drawing.
Yep, agreed.
And I had to go through and I started noticing something, that if you compare this face on Captain Koenig or Commander Koenig to this face, they look very similar. And there's even a very similar look between this face of the Doctor, I can't remember his name, but this
Victor.
face and this face. And
yep.
I think maybe only an artist who's trained in kind of really picking this kind of stuff apart will pick up on the fact that just like Jack Kirby, when he was drawing Superman, they pasted up his faces. Let me see if I can find, because all the faces of the actors. Okay, so this big image down here of Commander Koenig, this was probably the largest instance of this face that was drawn, but it was pasted up back on these earlier images that I showed. On this page right here. So this face was photostated down, reduced down, and pasted over the faces that he had drawn, the heads that he had drawn on these 2 images.
Nice. Very nice patch there. Yeah.
And I can, as a guy that works in licensing and works actually with this property, I can see that some actors are real sensitive about how they're drawn, but it might have been an editorial thing, and I didn't know if. Remind me, Roger, who is the artist that was drawing it before? It's another well-known artist, but I can't remember his name offhand.
I believe it was. Let me look it up. Hold on, I got it right here because I don't want to hypothesize.
Sure. So again, we'll just look at like the faces just on this page where the Helena Carter character that was the actress name was Barbara Baines. She and I can't remember her husband that played the commander. Had built a lot of fame back in the day on Mission Impossible, I believe, or was it I Spy? It was one of those spy TV shows.
No, Mission Impossible. You got it.
Okay, so they and that's how they kind of landed these starring roles on Space 1999. But this image definitely looks like it's a John Byrne drawn woman, while neither of the faces down here on the male actors down here look anything like a John Byrne face. If anything, remind me a little bit of Keith Giffen, maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
but the elongated face looks Giffenish to me. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was kind of crazy that they would have done that on. Of course, he wasn't the John Byrne that we know today. So
Right. He wasn't, and the Charlton color separation was never the best to begin with. So that particular issue you have looks pretty good, but some of them, man, I've looked through it and they're very like blurry almost. Here's just the rest of the run, just for completeness sake. Here's he did do the covers on 4 here, 5. Here they're inside the Eagle. I love this show, by the way. I've seen all these episodes many times, and that is 6. Yeah, the prior artist was Joe Staten, by the way. I thought that's who it was, but I didn't remember at the time. So those Charlton issues, to me, are, if you can find them cheap, are worth picking up, because you can really see the progression. Like what you showed, JHood, and then you show what, in his 80s Fantastic Four, put them together. You can tell it's Byrne, but he really refined his craft throughout the years.
For sure.
Now, after that, by the way, I said his first colored work was in E-Man. That's technically correct, first published. But he first submitted something to Marvel, which was published a few years later in Giant Size Dracula 5, right? You guys know about this little footnote, right?
Yep.
And it's this story called Dark Asylum. Let me put now, but this is, guys, when you read this, when you see this, it's very hard to see Byrne in here, because the inker Rudy Nebres really over-inked this issue. You two are artists, but to me, this looks like it's over-inked to me. It looks, there's a lot of shadowing in it. It's very hard to tell Byrne here. Even in the faces, it's very hard to make out to me.
Yeah, it could have been one or two things that he. Mm-hmm. Well, I would imagine he was probably drawing relatively tight pencils at the time, and Rudy Nebres really laid his style over it, or they could have been maybe a rougher layout. It's hard to say. But with it being a Dracula comic book, I'm sure they wanted it to look nice and spooky. And Rudy Nebres, as an inker, was a really well-known name. John Byrne again wasn't at the time. So
good point. Very good point. That makes perfect sense. But that was it. He submitted that actually before that Raj 2. But he did get the attention from those Charlton issues of one writer called Chris Claremont. We all know what a prolific writer Claremont was. Hey, Mike, Cream City Mike and Knights of Old Mike, welcome to the stream. And at that time, Chris Claremont was writing the Iron Fist stories in Marvel Premiere, drawn by Gil Kane initially, and then Pat Broderick was supposed to take it up over 25, but he could not make the deadline. So Claremont remembered about Byrne. He said, "Hey, could you do an issue of Iron Fist of Marvel Premiere for me?" And he said, "Yeah." So this is his first actual Marvel, issue that he did, based not something that he submitted for some kind of backup story, but for a frontline character, and that is Marvel Premiere 25 here. And you can see here now. This is inked by Dan Green. Al McWilliams. I'm sorry. Dan Green inks later on, but you can really start to see the Byrne. Look at the details here of the face. Notice how they're also distinctive. in their shape and in their detail. His Iron Fist is so pretty. I mean, it's so, he's powerful yet still lithe, I guess is the best word I can say. Look at this here. Look at that.
Oh yeah, wow.
That's Byrne.
Yeah, that's Byrne, right? That's Byrne. All right, now for the rest of the Iron Fist run, we're gonna go down to Jason because I know he has it and he's got some a little bit to show you there. So take it away, my brother.
This guy here, definitely, to me, you really begin to see a more fluid style, a more solid style by John Byrne here. I ain't gonna open up all of these like Metarog in them. I'm gonna find a book, but most of these I got in my law here. But we get to see John Byrne really coming into his own. To me personally, to the style which becomes what he's more famous for. And I got too many doubles here, but I'll open this one up. As an artist myself, I really look at the line structure and the anatomy on how he builds the characters and such, and you can tell immediately by they call it the Kirby crackle, but John Byrne executes it with his own unique style to it. And Iron Fist now is not as popular, and as Metarog always points out, you get the face, the John Byrne face, but he has a very rounded structure of the heads, the faces, and the body. To me personally, that makes a very big difference when you're doing superhero comics. This is issue number 5. And most of these books, I won't say that it seems like in the beginning it was rushed, but in the later issues, you see a tighter look to it, and everything is much stronger.
Yep, agreed.
The backgrounds and everything. Definitely one of the only artists that does uniquely looking backgrounds as well as everything else. This is beautiful right here.
I love that silhouette. I mean,
Yeah, that's
even
gorgeous.
as a young artist pulling off tricks like that. I mean, he's obviously looking at Neil Adams. Neil Adams, I'm sure, influenced him to a great degree. But,
you know, you can't go wrong with these splash pages.
That's awesome.
The mix of light and shadow, the figures, the angles, and people have a problem drawing. Okay, here we have a look at Byrne doing a fight scene, but Iron Fist is all over the place.
So awesome.
You don't get to see storytelling done like this, and for Metarog and his faces, and as I said, as the later on in the issues, you get to see how much better his form becomes, and how much more distinct and detailed the art becomes. Now I'll run through the rest of these books.
If you just think of the one spread you showed there, the fight scene, how many figures were in that? I mean,
Yes.
Guys today will go out of their way not to have to draw a lot of crap, but I mean, he was not afraid to do what was necessary to tell the story. Like you said, he drew backgrounds. He did not take shortcuts.
No.
And they had Iron Fist fighting everybody, which was kind of cool.
Yep.
Which they really don't do now. They like put them through the paces of the Marvel universe, and you know, everybody loves stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America versus Iron Fist. Boomerang.
Yeah, it was like a who's who of Marvels appeared in there. That's amazing. Yeah.
And of course, the one that everybody cries for. I have the Marvel Masterpiece Edition. So, but still, and this was crazy because I believe in this book on the last page they talk about cameos and such. You get a small little panel, and it's just the silhouette
Right.
of Sabretooth. And the last book, we get a taste of John Byrne drawing what may be the one Marvel thing that he's most famous for. John Byrne drawing the X-Men versus Iron Fist.
Yeah, I wholeheartely agree with that one. Wholeheartedly. I love that Wolverine costume that they had there for a few months. That he stole off one of the Shi'ar guards.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right
there you
there,
go. Yeah, I love it, love it. But he said it was too difficult to draw, so he dropped it.
Probably all the teeth.
Yeah, yep. He said it was too difficult. It took him too long.
Nice little fight scene with Wolverine and Iron Fist. Back to you, Roger.
Okay, thank you.
So-
Hey, spectator. Good to see you here. We do have a question here, which I think could answer. That is, I think John Byrne has one of the longest resumes in comics. Correct me if I'm wrong. I say you're right. When you're talking about somebody who started in the 70s and is still doing work, not as much, of course, but still is doing stuff here and there, that's a 50-year career. So
Definitely.
absolutely.
Can
Yeah,
we
definitely.
take a quick time out to talk about something we should have right off the bat? What was your guys' first exposure to John Byrne's work? And you don't have to necessarily name the issue or title, but just talk about how you came across his work, how you recognized that he was different from everyone else.
To me, I recognized it with the Raj 2000 stuff. I thought it was cool. You know, I like the science fiction robot stuff. But to me, when Iron Fist started, and especially the one that really got me was that Captain America issue. You know, where Captain America's walking down into a hallway, and Iron Fist is about to hit him, and Captain America just grabs him like that, and like in a vice grip, and he goes, "Oh my God, that's the fastest I've ever seen anybody move." That action and the face of Captain America and Iron Fist, that sold me. I was like, this is about as spectacular as it gets. And after that, I went back, and that's when I got the Charlton issues. No, over the years I've gotten them, but I wanted to really look to see how he progressed. And when Dan Green started inking him on that Iron Fist, Jason, that's when I think that he really took off for me.
Okay, Jason.
Definitely much more solid black lines and such on his work. It's
Right.
much more
Right.
heavy, it seemed.
Right. So what about you, Jason?
It was I thought it was the Fantastic Four, but when I think about it, there was like a deli called Speedy Mart that we used to play video games at, and I saw, I don't know which X-Men number it is, but the cover is when the Hellfire Club is like throwing the X-Men on the ground, when they had like defeated the X-Men, and like the Sebastian Shaw standing with his shirt, and he's like throwing Storm on the ground.
Yep.
That issue right there,
I know what you're talking about.
it made me see comic books like they're almost for grown-ups. I was just like, no comic book looked like this clean, like this good, and had like this much action in it, and the drama that he had in the faces and stuff like that. and I wasn't able to get many of those X-Men books as a kid. So when I finally started shopping for comic books and I saw them on Fantastic Four, it was over. Like it was, I was hooked.
So for me, I've told the story where, I don't remember ever not having comic books. And I was always just superhero fans. The more superheroes you could pack between two covers, the more I was into a comic. But I can remember like buying an issue of Batman because it had this awesome rendition of Batman on the cover, and then getting the book home and looking at it more closely and like being not consciously disappointed, but there was something missing between what I saw on that cover and what I saw in the art on the inside. And that's because probably somebody like Neil Adams drew the cover and it probably had like a Golden Age or Silver Age backup story in it or something crazy like that. Or it was just an artist with a totally different style. And then every once in a while I'd pick up an issue where I really liked how Batman was drawn through the whole thing. And those, even though I would say, Neil Adams really influenced my interest back then, but it was probably a Jim Aparo drawn issue. It wasn't until I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I was lucky enough to have a kid next door to me that was my same age, was into all the same stuff, like comic books, like Star Wars action figures. So we would trade stuff back and forth, yada, yada. But it wasn't until I was flipping it through a random comic, and I don't remember what the issue was, but I'm like, I really like how I somehow aired it out that I couldn't figure out why it was I liked this comic, the art in it, better than the book sitting next to it. And he said, well, the John Byrne drew that one. I'm like, what? I don't know what that means. And he kind of walked me through it. He was just a little bit smarter than me. It had read the credits page, or and I had always just blown over it, just diving into the story. And so John Byrne was the first creator where he was a brand of comic creator for me. So that every book that I looked at after that, whether I was like trying to figure out if I liked the art or not, but I could know that if I opened a book and saw John Byrne's name on it, I was probably going to like it and probably going to want to take it home. So
wow, that's cool. That's cool, JHood. That's cool. I mean, obviously you come from a perspective, that obviously your artistic talent. So you have perhaps a different mindset. To me, I just thought that it just resonated with me. This is how I thought comics should be drawn. Right. No disrespect to the more stylized artists like Frank Robbins and so forth, but to me, this is what really, like I think what did you say, Jay? Or no, somebody said you would get your blood going or blood boiling. That's the reaction I had exactly. Okay, but before we continue, I did want to show one gem that a lot of people don't know about. Right. Marvel Preview number 11. It's a Star-Lord story. The whole thing is drawn by John Byrne, black and white, stored by Chris Claremont. Gorgeous stuff. I mean, mind-blowing. The starscapes, the planets, the systems, the zero gravity stuff. Really, really good stuff. If you see this, if you're a Byrne fan, get it, because I tell you, I was blown away by this.
I'm going to have so many things to add to my list after tonight.
Listen, when I see you two guys' stream, then I'm going to be in trouble because I want to want that stuff. Here's a couple miscellaneous Byrne issues a lot of people don't know about. He did a couple Marvel Chillers.
Lord have mercy. You got another copy of that more Mystic?
No, I don't have another copy of that. Now, Kenny, Comic Kid 84 said, hey, 108 was not the first Byrne X-Men. We're going to get to the X-Men later. His first one was actually Marvel Team Up 53. Okay? It's a few pages, too. It's not like just one and they're out. It's a few pages. So this is one where I think it's like undervalued because man, he does a beautiful, beautiful rendition of X-Men.
That's a book that has risen to the top of my hunt list. You
got to get that.
Since you brought the idea of doing this stream up, I've been purposely hunting some specific books, and that's just one I haven't been able to land since then.
This is Marvel Team Up 53, Matt. There you go. Bought this one off the stand myself, way back when Minnie met a rog. All right. So after that,
let's talk about we talk about John Byrne being was it prodigious? Is that the word we use to talk about a guy that does a lot of work?
Prolific. Yes, correct.
Prolific. Okay. So there used to be a website called Comic Book DB, and you could find any title and it would tell you all the creators who worked on it, or you could look up a creator and find every book that he worked on, and it was an invaluable resource that has unfortunately went away. But I remember you could set it so you could look at by artist, and then in chronological order it would show you everything that was published. And there were months during the 70s where John Byrne was doing 5 books in a month, and it was always at least 2. So it wasn't that he was doing, some work a certain month and then it was carrying over several months later, like a filler issue or something like that. But it was common for him to do 2 titles a month regularly, and up to, like I said, up to 5.
Yep, correct.
I think only King Jack Kirby could say that he did more, and it could be debated that John Byrne actually did more pages. I mean, I'm not gonna kind of fight that battle tonight, but it's just, it can't be understated how much work he did, especially all this stuff was at Marvel. So just imagine being a kid and going and buying 5 John Byrne Marvel comics in a month.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah. I'm going to get into that in a minute, because I got there's a month where I think he did 4 or 5. I think a few are just covers, but he did 4 or 5 issues. That comic reader that Byrne did with the X-Men, I think it's the old X-Men, is a cool issue, which I am keeping my eye out for. Jackson Roy Kirk, my buddy from New Orleans, we are so happy to have you. We know that you had your power out. He emailed me yesterday, and I was ecstatic that all is well. Welcome. I hope that everything gets straightened out down there real quick. I'm a veteran of many hurricanes, living down in Florida all my life, so I was praying for you, buddy, and I'm so glad that you are here to join us. It's an honor. Okay, so after that, now Byrne, like you said, he did Marvel Team Up, he did Avengers, and he did Supervillain Team Up, and then he did a couple covers like this one for Jungle Action. This is just a pose cover, but I still think it's pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a 3-story arc that I remember picking up off the stand, and I was blown away. And that is the Avengers 3-story arc with Count Nefaria. Let me make them big here so these gentlemen can see. Really cool story here. Nefaria essentially recreates the Masters of Evil, gives them augmented powers, and then he steals that power and makes himself into almost a Superman-like villain. But unfortunately, he still has his psychological hang-ups. And when Thor comes up and he's afraid of Thor, he loses it. And eventually Thor, I think, shunts him into it. I forgot. Thor defeats him along with the rest of the Avengers together. Byrne, great action in these 3 issues. Really, really superb stuff. I don't know if you guys have this, but if you don't, keep
only
an eye out for it, because, man, you only got one? Yeah, man. This is why I love comics. When you're reading the Avengers, and it's doing sometimes these long convoluted plots, but this is just action upon action upon action upon action. This is the stuff that I lived for back then. So, anyway.
Like I said, when I was a kid, I judged the comic book by how many characters were in it, and I'm sure I bought tons of Avengers.
Yeah, Avengers and X-Men are your babies, right?
Yeah, his Avengers run is some of the stuff that I'm talking about that's rising to the top of my chase list. And I found some, but yeah, there's still I don't have any of those, so those are more books I need to pick up.
Okay. Good stuff in the chat here. Okay, here's another 2-story arc. You know, I'm a big Ghost Rider guy, right? This is to my as far as I remember, this is the only time Byrne did Ghost Rider. It started in this issue of Ghost Rider, and the second part ended in this issue of Daredevil. One of those kind of rare Bronze Age crossovers. Yeah.
Give us those numbers.
He draws a pretty nice Daredevil. What's that?
I said, give us the numbers.
Oh, sorry. You're right, man. Like, since I know them by memory, it's Ghost Rider 20 and Daredevil 138.
All right.
Okay. And yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, like cool stuff. All right, I'm trying to pick up the pace here, guys, because we're already 40 minutes in, right?
This isn't going to happen.
Yeah. He also did a couple issues of Howard the Duck, by the way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, number 4 and number 7. I have 4, but it's my 30-cent price variant, and I have it stuck in a bin, so you get 7. He didn't do the cover, though. He didn't do the cover, but the interior is pretty nice. Pretty nice. And then he did. This is probably a little another Claremont run that he did for Champions.
Mm-hmm.
The stories, not Claremont's best stuff, but Byrne on point, man. He does a great Black Goliath. You know how it's hard to. I'm not an artist, right? But when you do a character that is so large and everything has to be in perspective, his is spot on, man. It is spot on. You know, he did the cover here too, I believe, or is that Leighton? Hold on. Yeah, that's Leighton. I'm sorry, but he did do this one, I do believe. Yeah, that's a Byrne face right there in Hercules for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So again,
that's another run that's been on my list for a while. You see all the other books in dollar bins. If you hunt, you'll see them, but you never see these. I've never seen these in the wild.
Yeah.
Of course, since I was a Ghost Rider fan, I had to have these. I have the 35-cent variant of this one too. And then this ended up with issue 17, where he again Claremont brought in the Sentinels, right? And that's another thing I thought I've observed it. I don't know if you guys have. Byrne is very loyal to his characters. Champions kind of ended in a messy, cliffhangery kind of way, but he came back in Spectacular Spider-Man and finished that story arc. Let me see if I can find it. I got a table full of Byrne books here, guys, so bear with me.
That's my favorite kind
I got a table. Yeah, it's like I got a table full of Power Man, Fantastic Four, Iron Man. Well, I can't find it, but he came back in Spectacular Spider-Man and finished that Champions run. So again, he's very, very. He's not just I'm there for a paycheck. He is very loyal to his characters and he respects them, right? And that's something that I really can get into because, a lot of times artists, I don't know, you guys would know better than I do, but it seems to me like, if something happens to a comic or a character, it's like, well, that's in the past. But he likes to finish what he starts, I guess is the best way that I can put it.
Yep.
All right, so let's continue. As I said, he was doing Champions, and then he was also doing Marvel Team Up. Okay. This is good stuff here. I'm gonna make myself big. Do you guys have any of the Marvel Team Ups you want to show?
Some. I've got a handful.
You got a handful?
I got
All
two.
Right. You got two? All right.
I got two.
All right. I believe he started in that 53, 54. And then he gets to this space kind of epic here where Warlock meets the Gardener and he kind of finishes off the Warlock run, which was, again, kind of in limbo.
We wiped the drool off my mouth. You gotta have it.
Oh, man. And then we have 56 here, which is a really cool Blizzard and Electro battle with Daredevil and Spider-Man. And then he starts this story arc with Wasp. Yep, you got it. And it's against Equinox, which was a Spider-Man villain from Giant Size Spider-Man, I want to say. She actually thinks the Yellow Jacket is dead, but he's not. He shrunk down. And here, this one against the Super Skrull. Okay. And of course, we got a Miss Marvel appearance here, early Miss Marvel appearance. And then here, remember what I said about him finishing off, right? Well, here, there was a running subplot in that Iron Fist series about Davos, Steel Serpent. And once again, he used this. By the way, his Misty Knight, beautiful, gorgeous lady, right? I mean, I was in love with that lady, like, to death, you know? I mean, just, I could see why Iron Fist dug her, you know what I mean? Because Byrne did her that way. You know, I mean, sorry about that. My wife isn't listening. She's on the plane, okay? Sorry about that. Yeah, and here we have the first American appearance of Captain Britain.
Yep.
Yeah. And of course, we got an X-Men villain in here.
Of course.
Arcade, yeah, because Claremont was writing these at the time. Although I think Byrne had input into the story elements. This is one that people in the chat were saying is one of their favorites. Look at the hair. Let me make myself big here so you can see this, guys. Look here, there. Look at the detail on that hair. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful Tigra?
Looks like the Bride of Frankenstein.
Right?
Yeah. And then we have this nice. He does a really his man thing is not that murky, but it's still nice. You know, it's not like
I gotta have that one.
Yeah, it's against. And also, JHood Despair is in here, which I think showed up in the X-Men as well as a villain. And then of course we have again. And there's lots of X-Men tie-ins here because Claremont, right? And here we have the Living Pharaoh and Havoc. And then, of course, later on, we have the Living Monolith, I think he's called.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So, again, I'm not going to go through everything, but, you know, this is an issue of mine, which I love, with Luke Cage, where there's no arsonist. And then, of course, this guy, I'm gonna show you this one. The Red Sonja issue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Byrne doing Red Sonja is a feast for the eyes, gentlemen. A feast for the eyes. Let me show you here. Look at this. You guys sitting down, right? Okay. Here we go. Look at this. Look at that, guys. Huh?
Yeah, man.
Will that get you up in the morning? Yeah. Huh? Right?
Burn, baby,
Yeah.
burn.
Let's see. What's the publishing date on that one? That one, 1979. I got the same issue of that open.
That is March 1979.
JHood needs.
Oh, hold on. Show that again, JHood.
Yeah.
I need that in my life.
Yep.
There. Jason, you surprised me, sir.
It's John Byrne.
It's right. I mean, oh man, yeah. Look,
we haven't talked at all about.
Yeah, I'm a fanboy. Yeah, I am. Hey, Shop for Comics, welcome. Great to see you here. Great stuff. We haven't talked about his inkers much yet, or we haven't mentioned inkers at all. But Terry Austin was inking this for him, who was his X-Men collaborator. X-Men, yeah. And to me, that was his best inking partner. I mean, Dan Green was good, but I think Austin was the best.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was
definitely, in my opinion, better than John Byrne inking himself.
Better than John Byrne inking himself. Yes.
Another episode, probably.
Yeah. Here's a couple more Byrne issues, just miscellaneous Iron Man here, 109. And this is kind of a famous issue, 118, First Roadie.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Byrne
you did
does,
that one.
Yep, Byrne does the interiors for that, believe it or not. And he also did a really good two little story arc here, which is now very hot, and that is the Scott Lang two issue.
He did the art in that too?
He did.
What?
He did.
I had no idea.
Hold on.
I've never owned that book. I've never
The
cracked
proof
it.
is in the pudding, guys. I'll show you. I'll show you. I mean, you guys
Open it.
doubt me? Okay, no problem.
Open it.
My hunt list is getting more expensive.
What does it say up there?
It's John Byrne and Bob Layton.
Okay. 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 All right. Okay.
Red Rod's flexing.
Oh man, Byrne gets me excited. This monster guy that he does is like bizarre, but cool, you know. He also did a couple Spider-Man, not too many, but he did this 2-issue story arc with Man-Wolf.
I
180.
got a copy of that in my spinner rack.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
189, where he's in mummy mode, and then 190.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Now he does a nice Spider-Man. He does a nice Spider-Man. Here's another little series he did, Marvel 2-in-1.
Mm-hmm.
Very prolific, guys. We're telling you, Marvel Team Up, Champions, this, and X-Men, which we haven't talked about yet, but we're going to get to in a minute. I'm just trying to get to JHood here. But he did a lot of the Project Pegasus stuff right here.
Right. That was
That
was an excellent storyline. That's one I picked up off the rack as a kid.
Of course, me too. Of course, my man Deathlock was in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to have that. And Giant Man, once again, he liked this character, Black Goliath Giant Man. He used him quite a bit.
This is the
this is where
I bought off the rack back in the day.
Oh, yes! Look at that, nice, huh? Love it. And that's where this is where the Thing gets shot by Deathlock, actually penetrates his hide, and he starts bleeding. You don't see that very often. So, all right, I'm almost done, guys. Then I'm going to kick it over to you. Here's another, again, Iron Fist. He remembered him, right? And then when Power Man sales were down a bit, they wanted to team him up. So that's what they did. So the first 2 issues are indeed by John Byrne. Power Man 48 and 49. Now we're getting into 1977. You got these, Jason?
Yes.
Yeah.
Got the
Hold on, wait. Oh, you guys got good taste, man. You guys got good taste. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. This was a recent pickup for me. I've only had it a month or so.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I found the Peter Parker finally. Here it is. Sorry, out of order. But this is where he finishes off. It's kind of like you can tell it's not really the ending they wanted. It's sort of like they decided, hey, we don't really work together well, and they just walk off. It's just like that. But again, Byrne art can't go wrong. All right, finally, and then I'll kick it over to JHood, and that is before he did his Fantastic Four run that we all know about, where he wrote and drew. He did do a few before that, where he just drew, and I think he co-plotted a few. And that's in the early teens here.
Yep.
Beautiful.
There you go. Yeah, good stuff here.
I didn't know y'all was going this deep. I got
Direct edition. That's a direct edition, right?
Yes, that's an early direct edition. That's right. Yeah. All right, so let's kick it over to JHood, and he's going to show us some X-Men, and then he's going to close us out.
Oh, X-Men. So what do you want to see? I mean,
the earliest.
let's Let me switch my camera over. This would be much better looking than looking at my mug. So here's the 108.
Yes.
Oh,
Issue that we
nice.
did.
Oh, yes.
So this is one of the copies I need to upgrade. It's got a big water dent on the back, but I should just get it pressed. But for the price to upgrade it, what's the difference? But
Well, if you ever do, give me a call.
it'll have a good home.
You'll have a good home.
Let's talk about the number of panels on a page. Look at that.
Oh, holy smokes.
And everyone's drawn, masterfully. There's that wacky, 2-issue Wolverine costume.
Is that when at a panel?
What's that?
I said, is that the time where they were being paid by the panel?
You would think.
Yeah, he didn't take shortcuts. If the story dictated that he had to compress it more, he would.
It's
Look at this
perfect.
panel. I mean, you're not going to find a better, team shot of the X-Men. Every panel is packed. I mean, edge to edge with detail. Look
Gorgeous.
at this stuff.
Gorgeous stuff. Gorgeous. Wow. Oh, JHood, now you remember you were saying it's dangerous. Now I'm getting into the dangerous territory here.
So
Yeah.
I'll just flip through the covers. So.
Yes.
There.
Classic.
That left uppercut, man. Oh.
I need another copy of that.
No, you don't. I get one first.
So of the whole run, I'm missing 2 issues, and one is 110. So we'll go to 111, which is a Cockrum cover.
Only missing 2?
Yep.
Lucky
112,
dog.
Which
I
believe is a
I'm bidding
Perez
on it
cover.
right now.
This is one of the more underrated covers, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Look at the lava or the plasma, whatever that is. Look at the detail on that. I mean, just gorgeous stuff.
So this is the first issue of Uncanny.
Mm-hmm.
Bidding on that right now too.
Hard to
Mhm.
find a nice grade because of the black cover. We got 115 where they go to the Savage Land. If you're looking, I believe the thumbnail image is from this book. The thumbnail for this stream is, I think it's a panel from that book. If not, it's in
Yes.
this one. So
Yeah.
Happy hunting. You'll enjoy both if you need. If it's not in what I said. There's 116, 117, which looks like a Cockrum cover.
Yeah, looks like Cockrum. Yeah.
I'm missing 118. So those 110 and 118 are the ones I'm missing. This I can't tell if it's Byrne or not. That's a Cockrum.
It's Cockrum. Okay. That the face of the villain there kind of looked burnish.
This one is actually Bob Budiansky. I never realized that, but first cameo of Alpha Flight. But if you know the book, you know that they're in it pretty much the whole issue.
Yeah. They're just kind of in the background in the shadows. Yeah.
Yep. Looks like Cockrum did a fair amount of these covers. So he did 121, 122. 123 is only credited to Terry Austin. 125, I don't see an autograph on that or signature on that. Yeah, oddly enough, it looks like they had fill-in artists, so to speak, on a lot of these. I believe this is another Cockrum. This one is definitely Byrne.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
You can tell by
Yep.
the forms.
and we've got
Talk about the
128.
hips too.
128, which is a George Perez. So we're on a John Byrne stream, and I just showed a bunch of covers by George Perez and Dave Cockrum.
That's quite all right. That's
If
quite
you
all
are
right.
looking for the John Byrne run, those are the covers to be on the lookout for. And if you want to see anything specific, I can open them up. It's no problem.
Yeah, that's that run there. I mean, again, what you showed in that interior, I mean, just blew me away. I mean, it's just so gorgeous, so detailed. Yeah, and like I was saying, you guys know this, right? When you're writing a story, I'm a writer, not an artist, right? So when you're writing a story, and you give it over to the artist, you want that interpretation to be a spot on and to be that chapter to be, not to put some kind of segue or something that doesn't illustrate the story well. That's what he didn't take shortcuts. If you wrote the story, he had a panel that told the story. He didn't just say, well, as they're fighting over there, Oh man, look at that. Look at this. Hold on, let me put you big. Hold on. Let me get my drool rag out. Hold on. Oh man, that's gorgeous. That
know, right?
That's it right there.
That's
the
thumbnail.
we
That's the
talking
thumbnail.
about right there.
Yeah, there you go. That's the thumbnail that you sent me, JHood. That's amazing stuff.
I mean,
amazing stuff.
It's. I mean, we've gone. We're over an hour now. There's just not enough that could be said about John Byrne. To me, in my opinion, the 70s were his heyday. I mean, he did all these different titles for Marvel. They had a house style at the time, and he kind of broke out of that to a certain extent. I think got the the anatomy more realistic.
Yeah, he was. I saw an interview of his where he said that his two biggest influences are Kirby and Neil Adams, and you can see a little bit of both in there.
Sure.
It definitely can. But he honestly has a style all his own. It's very distinct to me.
That is for sure.
Okay, so let's cut it off here, guys. So what's going to happen is that again, the links are below to these two gentlemen. Sub up to their channels, hit the notification bell. We're going to go back, reset, and I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, whatever. JHood's going to give us the second part. It's going to be through the 80s. And then we're going to reset again, go down to Long Island and Jason, and he's going to take us on the journey of the more modern Byrne. But that's it for today, guys. We want to keep it to about an hour. We know there's lots of shows around. And after about an hour, we get a little fatigued. I do my throat and everything from talking and everything. So, but guys, you guys are awesome. Oh man, I'm like, now I don't know if I'm going to sleep tonight because I'm going to want to read about half the pile I have to my left here.
Right.
These
are some other recent pickups that I've got that I've been dying to read them. The Scarlet Witch storyline from the Avengers. I
forgot to show that, but yeah, that's great stuff where he did that. The Scython story where he did the origin or possible origin of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Mm-hmm. Here's that one that Biggie was talking about.
Yeah, that's the fire right there.
Yeah, good. I didn't even show it because the time that we were under, I didn't want to go too long. But guys, you see what we showed. There's going to be even more stuff when we get to the Man of Steel, when we get into the later X-Men run, when we get to his Fantastic Four that he wrote and drew for 5-6 years. And JHood keeps bringing stuff up that's killing me.
He's not right. He's not right.
Look at that.
I'll send you my address, Jay. I'll send you my address.
I'm
dying to read the story so I can see what that panel's all about. I mean, I can guess, but
yeah, it's neat. And actually, kind of. Well, I'm not going to get into it. We'll get into that in the next part. I'm not going to talk anymore. All right, guys. Again, thank you again for doing the honor of doing this with me. I had a great time, great fun. You guys are the best that I could have possibly chosen. So I am just so gratified that you got here today with me. I can't wait for part 2 and part 3 with you guys' channel. Do your parting words, and then we'll get out of here. And we'll see everybody in the chat hopefully in a few weeks.
Right. So thanks, Roger, for having me on. Definitely a blast. This is the kind of YouTube content that I intended to make when I made my channel. And, you get into it, been into it for a couple years now, and you kind of forget like what you intended to do. And this is the kind of stuff I intended to do. So I'm very grateful that you guys had me on. But yeah, as we stopped at the Dark Phoenix Saga, because we're going to pick up with that on my stream, because that's the bee's knees, man. No work, in my opinion. Everything else I've ever read, I've always compared it to the Dark Phoenix Saga. So in my mind, that's how big of an event it was. But so we'll see that next time. As far as my channel goes, we do a Saturday morning stream at 10 a.m. Eastern every other Saturday. This Saturday would be our normal week, but we are off, and we're going to skip to, I believe it's the 18th. And we'll be doing a topic TBD, but we like to spend an hour, have a little fun, chatting up stuff that, is not as important as all the other nerdy stuff that's out there, nitty gritty stuff that's out there in life. Just chill out, be
right.
nerds, geek out, have fun. So we'll be doing that. Like I said, I believe it's the 18th of September at 10 a.m. But other than that, check out my back matter on my YouTube channel, JHood Creative. Check me out on Instagram. Love to pick up a few subs. So if you're not subbed to me, please do. But thanks again, Roger. It's been awesome.
Absolutely. An honor. All right, Jason, what do you got for us, buddy?
First, beautiful thank you to the both of you for inviting me here. For one of the most magnificent artists. Can't wait to get into the 80s with JHood Creative. I've been watching your videos, so I know what you have. And this one blew me away because I need more than half of this stuff. But JHood, that next video, everybody that's watching now, tell your friends. You're going to be blown away. And hopefully by the end of tomorrow, I will have a review of the 5th episode of Disney Plus Marvel's What If. And by Saturday, I will have This Week in Comics, which goes over all the news. I have a link for this video in that video. And I'll be showing you my comic book haul for the week. And as for that, I got to get ready for my Burn Baby Burn video. And you can catch me at From Heroes to Icons on YouTube, and also at From Heroes to Icons on Instagram, where for anybody that likes to dig into a comic book box, we love showing our collection. Not just spec, but just everything that we love about comics. Thanks, Roger.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jason also loves those Oriental and Asian inspired comics. He has a great collection of that stuff, which I enjoy because I don't know anything about it, so I learn everything from you, Jason. So, okay, guys, I'm gonna let you get out of here. Say good night to your wives. Say hello to your wives. Go eat dinner. Whatever it is you got to do. I want to say thank the chat. The awesome chat was in here that's supporting us. You guys, you're the reason we do this because we love to share and get feedback, and you guys were on point tonight. So everybody, I'm going to get out of here. You know what I'm going to say? Be kind to each other, be blessed, and be back. Bye.
See you guys.